Hi, guys. Welcome to Discover the Duncan Difference podcast. Today, I have Tim Kunkle with us here. He is one of our retirement plan advisors. So, we're going to talk about all things retirement. We're going to talk about what Tim does, and it's going to be a super fun conversation. So, Tim, to get us started, can you just explain a little bit about what you do here at Duncan?
Yeah, so as you said, retirement plan advisor. So the majority of my time I spend meeting with companies that are sponsoring some type of retirement program.
Okay.
So whether that's a 401k or 403b, governmental type program, pension plan, you name it, we can support it when it comes to retirement plans, and that's really what I do every day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I can't wait to get into all of that because I feel like a lot of that is pretty confusing for people, even probably people that are a part of, companies that have those offerings may not even understand what all those things mean. So
It can be, yeah.
So on the day-to-day, what are you doing with companies? Do you work mostly with like the owners of the companies? Do you work with the employees? How do you talk through like what you do, basically?
Yeah, the cool thing is I get to do both.
Awesome.
Yeah, in the role that we have and the way we have it designed here, my primary focus is with the plan and the organization itself, making sure it's running smoothly and efficiently and cost effectively, and that the plan sponsor, the fiduciaries, which are typically the business owner or officers or executives of the company.
Yeah.
They typically run the retirement plan at the highest level.
Okay.
And it's my job to consult with them and make sure that they're doing the things that they're required to do,
Yeah.
by the regulators to run their plan.
Yeah.
And then part of that, though, is also building an education strategy to help the employees that work at that company and ultimately help them have the best retirement outcome that they can through the plan. So
Yeah.
I really get to spend my time divided between those, the folks that run the plan and then the folks that do the work for the company to make the company successful. So
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you enjoy about that? Like, what do you enjoy most about working with the companies?
Yeah, I think being out and about with just the different types of companies that we get to work with. I mean, from law firms to lumber mills to whatever. I mean, it's every type of company can offer a retirement program. So some days I'll show up like this in a boardroom. Other days I'll put the jeans and the flannel on because I'm out in the lumber mill or in the shop floor or something like that. And it's pretty unique. The environment that we get to go work in and the types of folks. Everybody wants to retire someday,
right?
No matter what type of job you have. And that's the really unique thing about a 401k or just any type of retirement plan is everybody has or should have one or have access to one. And it's pretty unique.
Absolutely. I love that. And I love learning about businesses and stuff. So I think it's so fun, like you said, to be able to go there, be in person, learn how they're running their business and be able to help them. And what's unique about Duncan is obviously you can learn about that and also help them in so many other different ways. Really recommending for commercial insurance, somebody from here or our PWM team. So can you speak on that a little bit about how you're able to help business? Because I feel like business owners are just like, we can help them so much at Duncan. Like we basically have the full package for them. So can you speak a little bit about that, about how we kind of help those business owners in more ways than just what you guys are doing?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's one of the most unique things that I've found being in this organization is exactly like what you said. Those business owners, they're busy.
Yes,
they're running their company. They're trying to reduce their risk, reduce their costs, increase efficiency, hire the right people. Do all the things, right? And 401k is usually a part of that. They want to offer a nice benefit package to attract and retain employees, and that's always part of it. But being able to be in that room with them when they're making those company level decisions. And then it's not a hard pivot to, well, we're already doing your 401k plan. That's an employee benefit. Well, we also offer health benefits.
Yes.
We also offer different types of insurance to employees and through employer programs and things like that. So commercial insurance, all the things, that's all part of the overall decision making that a lot of those folks that we're working with every day on the plan, they're making those similar decisions for those other lines of business. And when they find out that we do offer all those different things and the efficiencies that they get having folks that work on the same team, it really makes it
Yes.
more of a cohesive relationship for them. And
Absolutely.
when they realize that, you can see the light go on, and
Yes.
it's really something.
Because as a business owner, you're constantly, pulled in a million different directions. It's so good to know that you can call the same place for all of your needs. You've got that ease of like, oh man, who do I have to call for this? Who do I have to call for that? Knowing that it's all under one roof and you are talking to the people that are on the same team, like they can call you, but they also can talk to Brian and know that they can, that's all, it all flows together so easily. It's so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if somebody doesn't have the option, like the benefit of having a 401k, they're a business owner, what would you tell somebody who's like looking at options, thinking about offering that to their employees? Like, what are the steps that they would go through if they wanted to start working with us or were thinking about it?
Sure. So, not every company has a retirement program.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an opportunity for them to, again, add a benefit that's going to help them attract employees and retain good people. And structuring a retirement program from the ground up really gives them a clean slate.
Yeah.
Where, we can take this any way you want,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's to, try and encourage, new people to come on board, whether it's to, retain those executives that you don't want to go somewhere else.
Yes.
Depending on the size of the company, the number of employees that they have, the number of locations that they might have, all those things kind of play into what type of retirement program might be what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Even what type of organization they are, if they're a governmental or if they're a nonprofit or if they're, a public company.
Mm-hmm.
They could be, different types of plans for them too. So when they look at us as a retirement consultant that is going to help them design the best program, again, it's a great opportunity starting from the ground up. And, to be on top of some new legislation and things that, the regulatory landscape's always changing when it comes to retirement plans. And things like the new Secure Act and Secure 2.0, which is out there now, encouraging businesses to start retirement plans and putting things in place. They really get that recognition and that, now the legislation's behind us.
Yeah.
We have no reason to not start a plan at this point.
Absolutely. And I think it's so awesome to have the benefit of you guys helping them along that journey of, making all those decisions and helping them to set that up. I think that is just such a huge benefit for a company. I love that.
Yep.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about the employees, like our contact with the employees, what we are really doing for those employees that have the plans.
Yeah, so that's what the retirement plan is all about.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking care of those employees, making sure that they're able to retire someday. And, part of the education strategy that I always try to build with my plan sponsor clients includes, how are we going to access your employees? How are we going to reach them throughout the year to remind them of the importance of this benefit that they have, making sure they're saving appropriately and they're invested appropriately and that they're really taking advantage of the nice benefit that you're putting together for them.
Absolutely.
And so that education strategy typically includes group meetings. So we'll go meet with employees in a group setting where they'll gather. We'll talk about the markets, what's driving what the performance they see on their quarterly statements when they show up in the mail, and those things. But then we also try and integrate one-on-one consultations with those employees. And awesome. I really feel like that's where we get the most attention, because those people that will take the time to sign up to come see me individually, I know they're interested, I know they have questions, I know they're already engaged, and it's how can I help you better your retirement outcome? And I know that if they listen to me, if they take the time to spend 15, 20, 30 minutes with me, that I'm going to be able to make a difference for them.
That is awesome.
When they go to retire someday. And they might not remember me or what we talked about, but if they listen and we do the right things with their allocation and their savings and those types of things, 10, 20, 30 years from now when they go to retire, it should be a better outcome than it would have been if they wouldn't have come that day.
Yeah, so that is so awesome.
That gives me a lot of satisfaction in what I get to do when I'm meeting with those folks.
That is so great. So when an employee comes and does that one-on-one with you and you guys sit down, what would you say are kind of some of the most common questions that you get, or what are they most worried about, would you say?
Sure. Everybody is worried that they're not going to be able to have enough money when they retire. I mean, or
I feel that.
or I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. I mean, it's that basic sometimes. I don't know what I'm doing. You're the expert. You know,
I
guide me,
can
please.
speak from experience. I said the same exact thing. I was like, please help.
Well, you got some people here that can help.
Exactly.
You know,
Thankfully.
So, yeah, right. So those are very common questions, and that's what most people in this world that don't do what I do for a living. I mean, they go to work. They make their product, or they speak to their, whatever they're doing.
Yes.
But they're not focused on investments. They're not focused on retirement savings, and it's
Mm-hmm.
something they might think about once a year.
Yep.
Most people will spend more time planning their summer vacation than they will looking at their retirement plan for the year.
Absolutely.
And that's a fact. And it's so when they come and they want to sit with me and take that time, I make that time for them, and I make it as valuable as I can, because I want them to come out of there with a better outcome. And whether it's just rebalancing their portfolio, or whether it's encouraging them to save a little bit more, or incorporating a Roth retirement account into their strategy.
Ooh,
I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, and people get confused with that. And that's one of my biggest jobs, is to kind of make it understandable, make it real for them, and help them make the best decisions.
That's awesome. Okay, so this might be a dumb question, and we might not keep this in there. But when you are taking into account, so say that a man comes to you and he's married and has several children, are you taking into account the fact that maybe there's another income, or are you really just kind of looking at his portfolio and like his savings and that strategy?
It usually starts with that, because that's what's first on their mind when they first come to sit down, is my 401k.
Yeah, right.
But when we really start talking about their overall financial health and their family and their planning, and then we start to talk about, well, what's the next 15, 20 years going to look like? It's a team approach. And that's natural questions that kind of get led into is, okay, well, tell me a little bit about your spouse. Does your wife have does she work? Does she have a 401k where she works? And the nice thing about what we do is, even though we don't work on that, maybe the spouse's 401k, we can still offer the guidance and help that person might not have where they work. But since you're a spouse of somebody that works with a 401k with us, we're happy to look at that for you. Make sure that, because it's a team effort. And
absolutely,
when you're talking about a family's financial success, I mean, that takes everybody into consideration, including the kids.
The whole picture.
Because when you're not here, what happens to the kids? How are they? Are they your beneficiaries? Are they, is that set up appropriately? So there's, again, it's a much bigger discussion than just about their 401k.
Yeah, absolutely. So we help with like making sure they have the right beneficiaries. Because I was reading this thing on LinkedIn the other day that this man who passed away, maybe he was pretty young, like 50s or 60s, and he passed away, and his girlfriend from like 1985 got his 401k because he had put her on when they were dating. They only dated for 2 years, put her on there and never took her off. Crazy.
That can happen though. That can happen. And because with a 401k, a lot of people don't know this, and it's something that I try and explain a lot, is that beneficiary that you designate on your 401k, it overrides your will, it overrides any legal documents, because it's designated just for that plan. And a lot of people will forget that. When they first sign up for a plan, they might not be married, and they'll put their mom down or something, and then they get married and divorced, and they end up with the old girlfriend on there. And I try and tell people, please keep anytime you have a life event, keep that up to date. You have kids, you get married, you get divorced. I mean, life happens, and but you got to remember to change that stuff.
Yeah, very important.
That's always something we try and remind people of.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so good to have somebody there reminding you too, because I feel like a lot of times in life, like you said, with life events, you just don't always think about something like that.
You got a million things going on.
You think like, oh, I have my will, so it's fine, but it's really not fine, because like you said, it overrides the will, so that it doesn't matter. So that's really good information. Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, what do you enjoy about working at Duncan? What do you do outside of work? What are your hobbies?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I probably said some of the things I really enjoy about working here. I mean, working with the people and just having the flexibility to get out and meet with people and build my schedule and go see who I need to go see. And I mean, that makes work easy sometimes. It makes work fun because, I know where I need to be, and I get there and take care of the business, but also get to get to work with the people that I get to work with. My office is extremely a fun office.
You guys have the best.
Yeah, we really do. We have a great team in the Pittsburgh office, and so it's a joy to go in there every day and hear the stories about what the team did over the weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
We hang out outside of work a little bit. We do some stuff that way. So personally, I mean, I grew up in Indiana, PA, so not too far from here, but I went to Indiana High School. I stayed in town, went to Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
That's awesome.
IUP. So that's and my daughter Holly, she's 17. She's going to be a senior in high school this year. So she's going through her college selection process right now. So that's been fun.
So fun.
It's been a lot of fun to kind of relive that and see it through her eyes and just get excited about what the future holds there. So, so I would say, outside of work, most people would probably, I really enjoy my family, my friends. I mean, just spending time with them, doing stuff. Pittsburgh sports, of course, I'm a junkie. I can't get enough. And, amateur wrestling's my passion. Anybody that really knows me, I mean, if I'm not at a wrestling match, I'm usually watching something or planning a trip to go somewhere or do something.
Yeah, so, that's awesome.
Yeah, that really, I mean, I get a lot out of that.
And that's great. How long have you been at Duncan?
It's my 11th year.
Wow,
so
that's awesome.
December will be 11 years.
What brought you to Duncan?
Well, it was a long and winding road, I would say. It really was. So I worked for a couple really big companies before when I first started my career, and I've been working with retirement plans for 25 years now.
Oh, that's amazing.
Only 11 of it has been here. So I did do some stuff before I got here. But so I started off out in Philadelphia, and then I moved to Arizona for a while, and I was in Ohio for a little bit. Cool. And so it really was a long and winding road. And
truly.
But my goal was, to get back to Pittsburgh, to start a family back here, and just set roots back here where it all started. And so again, it was kind of a long road. I was working at a regional bank here in Pittsburgh, and that's when I met Alex Klein, my partner in crime in the Pittsburgh office. So Alex and I hit it off really well. We were working on retirement plans together, and really developed a good relationship. And when he joined Duncan, it took a little encouragement over time, and
a
little nudge here and there. But so he encouraged me to give it a look. And I didn't know much about Duncan Financial Group at that time. I didn't know much about the independent financial firm channel at all, because I had always worked for pretty large organizations. And so it was kind of a leap of faith, really, to Alex is telling me good things. So I came here, I interviewed, and it didn't even really feel like an interview when I came. It was more like an orientation.
That sounds about right.
It was more like a first day of orientation.
Hey, welcome.
They were showing me where my desk might be, and these are the people you might work with, and it was pretty cool.
That is really awesome.
And I met your dad. I met Dave for the first time, so I had never met Dave. Got to spend some time with him that day, and that really, to me, at that time, I was like, wow, the CEO of the company just took time out of his day to come and sit with me, to find out, what I'm interested in and why I want to work here. And Dave,
I love that.
And I mean, that really meant a lot to me that he came and spent that time with me that day, and it was exciting because he gave me kind of his vision of the organization and the history and a little bit about what everything meant. And you hear a lot about your grandfather, Jack, and your dad even said it in that meeting to me. He's like, you take care of your clients, everything else takes care of itself.
Yep.
You hear that a lot around here, but that resonated with me from that very first time I met your dad. And I said, okay, that's a leader that I want to work with. And
that is such a cool story.
That's how I came to Duncan.
I love that. That's awesome. So one last question for you then, because that was going to be your last question, but I want to touch on this because you said that you worked for larger corporations beforehand. What would you say is the biggest difference between working for a large corporation and someone like us that's independent?
It's you get that big company feeling, and you get the obviously there's resources in there. It's just it's huge. But you can get lost in that a little bit. And I never felt lost here. I always felt like this is, this place is big enough where we have the resources. We have the availability and accessibility to our clients. Our
Mm-hmm.
clients aren't missing out on anything. They get more of a personal approach with us. Again, like I said, I have the flexibility to do what I need to do to take care of those clients and do what your
To show
grandfather
up
said.
when you need.
Take care of them,
Mm-hmm.
and everything else will take care of itself. And that's been the probably the one of the biggest differentiators of working in some of those big organizations. Again, you're just kind of there sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes just a number. Yeah.
But here, everybody's important. I mean, granted, we've grown a lot in the last 11 years. I can't say that I know every employee here anymore. I don't know that I ever really did, but it's a little more challenging now. But we're still, the events where we get together and you see people that you haven't seen in the office for a while. I mean, it's
because we have so many different locations. But it's great to we still have that feeling of everybody, even if you don't know every single person's name. That what you do matters, what they do matters. It's just it's a cool feeling.
Yeah, and I know I can lean on those folks to help me and my clients if it's out of my wheelhouse. If it's one of those services that we offer it's not my specialty, but it's what we do.
Hold on, I can call somebody.
They're a phone call away. And they're either in my office or one of the other offices that we have, and always accessible. So that's really neat for me to have when I'm working with my clients.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out. This was a wonderful interview.
This was fun. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you guys for watching Discover the Duncan Difference. We drop every Monday at 8 a.m. wherever you find your podcasts. See you guys next week.
Thank you.